Shuklambaradharam Vishnum Jajivadnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadhanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopajantaye Prajnanam Brahmayamatma Brahmatatvamasi Brahmasmi Om Hamsat Shivassoham Hamsah Hasaka Frame Adakshamala Yumasaum Sakshamala Saha Swarupaniropana Hetave Swagurave Srimajnanam Pikasameda Sri Chaitanyanandanath Sri Guru Sri Padukam Pujayami Payami Namaha. With Guru's blessings and his ordinance, let me start this class and see where he takes all of us. Okay, with that said, I was in two minds whether I have to teach something pertaining to the Homam process or answer certain questions regarding the Homam process you have. So the way I would look at it is, I'd rather start off with questions for the first about 15 minutes. And by the end of 15 minutes, if I see the questions dying down, I will just have a whole recap of the entire process so that the understanding will be holistic. That's the approach I would want to take. If there is if any of you think differently, you are free. Please feel free to post so or speak so, whichever works out. So if it is the questions and answers that we would like to, if all of us on a consensus basis like to start off with, now what will be the first question? I know I have seen a little bit of discussion regarding the Agnimukham part, particularly the directions and placements. I'll come to that as the last question in the session. Amma, how do I view the question when you're going to speak out?
Yes, yeah, I'll read out the questions and see it on the classroom.
Are we supposed to speak out? I'm typing in chat.
Actually, let me just see.
No, if you type out the question, Anupama is going to read it out for all of us, and then I'll take it from there.
I see. Okay, namaskaram. Thank you.
So there was a question on, could you elaborate on the Purna Ahuti process? Is the first question that I see here.
Okay.
Maybe I'll just make a note of it. Probably we can take that as you.
There are a few questions here. What is there? I don't see Shankaraya. We are not surprised with the temple timings. And then Shankar Ayya, my question is substitutions. I am in Paraguay, South America. Okay. Shall we start with that, Amma? Substitution. What exactly do you mean by substitution? You may have to elaborate a little bit on that. Then I can explain.
I can't get coconut for Kalasam. So basically for Kalasam setup, there is no coconut available for one of the participants. So how could you, what can he substitute with?
Okay. First of all, if you are speaking about Bhairava Kalasham, number one, if you are doing it at home, you don't necessarily have to have Bhairava Kalasham in the first place. You can entirely do away with it. As the crowd increases, say in the case, even at home, suppose you invite a party of about 15, 20 people who are like-minded and interested in home, not something else. Then when such participation is there, then you will have to have a Bhairava Kalasham. Then if the crowd becomes more intense or if the homam becomes more elaborate, say something like Chandi homam, then you will have to give Bali. So each of these layers, they keep adding on as and when the situation slowly morphs. For a bare bones homam process at home, if you want to do it out of your personal interest, keep it bare bones. Keep it bare bones. Okay, we are at a small ashram with a small group of like-minded people. Excellent. Then in that case, you will have to have Bhairava Kalasham. If you don't have a coconut, you can place an orange. or a grapefruit, because grapefruit is quite big. You can place that, or any of those citrus fruit, like you get something, some of those citrus fruits as large as a small football. You can have that. Yeah, pineapple vanda. No pineapple. Citrus fruit like grapefruit or that family. Okay, which is the other next question? Yeah.
So there's one more question. Somebody says, like, is pomegranate okay with it?
From pomegranate is okay too. Pomegranate is okay too.
There's another question that
Yeah.
was posted separately. They're asking about, while doing the setup, when we did the setup, we keep under the Yoni Patram, we have 4 darbas that are kept. What is the significance of keeping the darba under that, under the Argya Patram on the Yoni? On the Yoni Patram?
It is honestly, I do not know the answer for it right away. Yeah, we are used to keeping 3 darbas, and normally when they do that, back home, before these things start, they do the so-called Durva Suktam. Okay, they chant, they basically make a divinity out of darba and then place the 3 this ones there. And then if it is in Apara Kriya, the 3 darbas will represent the 3 lineages, not lineages, 3 generations of ancestors. In the case of regular this one, I don't want to give you an inaccurate information. I can find it out and tell you, but I still believe it is about the 3 sthayis, 3 states of mind. But that's all I know up to at this moment. Probably I'll have to find out and get back. I never really thought of that. Thank you. Could the plate of fruits or food placed underneath the seat where it has been installed be considered as offering to Bhairava, Mother Kali altogether? It is not considered as offering. It is expected to be offered after the entire kratu is over. Can we use tin foil instead of Homa Kunda? Yes, better something than nothing. The thing is, if you use tin foil, it conducts heat much more fast. So you will have to have some bad conductor underneath. Otherwise, you keep it on your wooden floor, the wooden floor gets really burnt. What are the homas that need Bhairava Kalasham? I would say the Bhairava, the homas, more than saying the specific homam, I would say what situation calls for a Bhairava Kalasham. Okay, suppose you are performing Navaratri at home or a Ganapati Vratam at home, you invite a few people. Then I would suggest you have a Bhairava Kalasham. Otherwise, if you are doing it just all for yourself, stay away. And if you are doing a much heavier, say for example, a Pratyangara homam or a Chandi homam, yes, definitely, even if you are doing it alone, you will have to have a Bhairava Kalasham. One more question. If we have persons present who do not have Panchadasi Diksha, can we chant Vancha Kalpa Ganapati out loud? They can hear it. They can hear it. In our lineage, it is permitted that for anybody to hear the shloka, but they cannot do sadhana on it. Say, for example, in our own temple here, lot of devotees, they come, they sit while they will be hearing us chanting while we perform the homam. No taboos. What was the question that I missed, Ma?
If doing Chandi Homam at home, what is the Bali process?
Yeah, during the Chandi during the Chandi Homam, Bali process, there are, once again, there are a few variations to it. The bare bones Bali process for Chandi Homam is Dikpalaka Bali. I say, actually, Dasha Dikpalaka Bali. That is starting from Indra, you'll just count around until Brahma, Vishnu, and then Bhairava. And the mantra is very typical and same, you just same equation, change the variable kind of this one. Okay, I'll just read out, chant out loud. If anybody should need that, we can type that mantra and send it, or probably we already have it somewhere, we can send it across. Bho Indra, Disham Raksha, Balim Bhutshva, Sarve Bhakta Jananam, Sakutumbasya Bhyudayam Kuru, Ayuh Karta, Kshema Karta, Shanti Karta, Pushti Karta, Tushti Karta, Nirvigna Karta, Kalyana Karta, Varado Bhava, Anena Balidanena, Indra Pretam, Indraya Swaha, Indraya Ishada Balidna Mama. So, for each Dikpalaka, you remove that name, paste that name. So, if it is Agni, Bho Agni, towards the end, Agnaye Shrabalidna Mama, Bho Vayu, Vayave Shrabalidna Mama. Like that, the variables will change, but the rest of the remaining portion will remain the same. Okay? And typically, the process for Bali, the procedure for the Bali itself is, after you install all these 11, that is 8 cardinal directions, horizontal, and then 1 vertical upwards and 1 vertical downwards, and then 1 for Bhairava. So there are total 11 Balis that are offered. Okay. When you are offering the Bali, typically that when you are doing it in a semi-elaborate fashion. That's why I use the mark my word is semi-elaborate, not elaborate. If it is not elaborate at all, then yes, you will just make 1 Bali for Bhairava. That's the end of the story. But if it is semi-elaborate process, particularly when you say Chandi Home, yes, semi-elaborate is the minimum that should be expected. After each time you place the Bali, it's best if you can have a small wick, ghee wick lighted, ghee lamp lighted and placed there. Something like a tea light near each of the Bali. Then after the Bali is given like that, then you are going to offer Dhupa, Deepa, Naivedya, Nirajanam for the Bali Devatas. And what are you going to do with that Dhupam and Deepam and all those, this one? You are going to put it into the Homa Kunda. I mean, not the lamp itself, but when you light the camphor will go into the Homa Kunda. Okay? Next question.
There's a question that says, can I do homam without my wife being present?
Are you afraid of her? Jokes apart, of course you can do it. Of course you can do it. Next.
There's one thing that came up here. Offering of milk that you do at the end of the Homa. Can you hear me? So when is that done? Is it done after and why is it done?
Could you repeat that, Amma? I'm sorry.
There is the offering of milk that is done. At
offering of at the end. Offering of milk at the end is a kind of an ultimate conclusion which marks the end of the entire Homam process. Thing is, until then, whatever you offer to the Homam, it goes by a predetermined or prior specified methodology. Okay. After that is over, once you do that, that means you are good. It's a kind of a Digvimogam kind of situation. You offer it by chanting Guru Padaka. Then after that, say suppose you are using rice as for the havis. Some amount of havis is left behind. You just won't empty it before doing this at any time. After you offer this milk, you can just empty the contents in your havis patram so that it's all a kind of a shopkeeping kind of thing. But that is going to be the final step in any typical Homam process. After that thing is offered, we can, it's only after that is offered, we'll start offering the Bali. Bali is not considered as an integral part of the Homam, but it is considered the integral part of the entire Kratu. Best time to do Homam at home, anytime when you are not disturbed. Only thing is, typically you don't want to do it during midnight. Thing is, what I was told, after midnight, Lalita assumes the form of Kali. So she becomes a kind of Ugram. The results can be sometimes, okay, can be quite incisive. You may not be prepared to take that, or you may not have the proper direction at that point to what exactly to do when something happens. And typically for Ambal, for mother, the homam is done towards the pradosham time. Okay, the intentionally use the word pradosham because there are two terms, bhatam and dosham. Dosham is dusk, means that the evening is the night. Bhatam is sunrise. Prabhatam means the time period just before sunrise is called prabhatam. And pradosham is the time just before sunset. So that the pradosham, that is the evening fading into the night, is the ideal time to perform any kratu for mother. Ayya, when we do home at home, do we need to put separate kalasham or can do puja to panchapatram and chant varna mantra? Yes, you don't have to put separate kalasham. Separate kalasham is placed here for so many other reasons. You don't have to do all that. My sincere suggestion, because when compared to most of you, I am one of the lazier lot. I have to be very, very confessional about it. Okay. So I've tried to find the easier way out. Okay. So when I do things at home, I'll try to make it as simple as possible so that I will not have enough excuse to just get away from it. Maybe human beings, we all have this so-called body, Amma. It can get tired, it can get bored, it can get distracted. Okay, that's why it is called a body. So keep things simple. Can you define this term which you mentioned twice? What is that? Kratu. Kratu means, you see, it is something like it is I would say starting from the sankalpam toward and ending with the entire dismantling of the Deswan. That becomes a kratu. That will include accepting the naivedyam, taking the whole thing, okay, washing off your patrams, so all things put together, it becomes a kratu. And in that kratu, significant part of it is methodical. That is a method that is already predefined. And some amount of it is not a part of that. Say, for example, you have to arrange the patrams, puja set, then homa dravyam you have to arrange. All that still comes under part of that kratu. And then dismantling all that, take it away, all that. That's why even after the homam is over, okay, when the bali, this thing is all over there, you are not supposed to eat. The bali dravyams have to be disposed of because the bali devatas will have come. They'll be eating and they see something, they want that. Let me give you a very, very interesting example. A few years back, Ayya was doing the homam. It's a normal homam. He just did the homam. They had brought them in. That day, it was a slightly elaborate home. All kinds of naivedyams were there to be offered to the deity. And suddenly he just did the Agnimukam. He did this. He clapped. So we just kept quiet. After the whole thing was over, I asked him, Ayya, why did you clap? Did you do bhuto chatana? Apasarpantu te bhuta, ye bhuta bhusam sita, te bhuta vignakattaraha, te nashyantu shivagnyaya. So basically, it's bhutan, yutsar. So saying, we'll just do the bhuto chatana to drive away the life form, non-conforming life forms that have accumulated over there, and it can cause only noise, disturbance, which means disturbance to the kratu, disturbance to our own focus, and so many things. Then he said, you noticed. This is exactly what he noticed. Then he said, that day when he put in all that, when the naivedyams were there, some guy with some black dress, not in a very good state of mind, he was walking outside the temple and just outside the windows. He was walking there. Along with him, there were certain of these demigods that were walking in. They were eyeing for the naivedyams. They were eyeing for the Naivedyam. So he did Bhuto Chatna, and he said, if you had observed that time, after I did that, I asked them to close the door. Yes, he did close the door. So that's why when this keeping the Bali Dravyam there, eating food is not a good thing. Likewise, there are so many subtle things that we tend not to observe during a normal homum process, but when it becomes more and more elaborate, we have to follow those niceties. And all that will form a part of this krata. Okay, Ayya, when we start doing a homum in the beginning, I am likely to make mistakes. How do we, or what we do to ask Amma to forgive me for my mistakes? Okay. Doing the right thing or doing the wrong thing by the force of will is not correct. And moment you remove the force of will, that means the ego, whatever you do, right or wrong, becomes correct. Okay, this is what I have learned after I came to this temple, because my grandfather and before that, they were all very, very orthodox Vedics. Okay, and though I have not done much at home, I used to say, hey, this is the way to do it. Madilandre belte, management by fear. That is how it used to be at that time. Okay, so though I was not indoctrinated, I thought, okay, if it is not this way, there is no way. Either it is the highway or no way. But after I came here, that impression changed. In fact, it fell apart. So what happens is, they hear the way my guru has taught to me. Okay, in fact, that even the first puja I ever did for the Kalasham here, the first puja as a priest, that day it was a total shocking surprise for me. I just came, Ayya said, okay, you do it. And he did not even stay, he went away. So I was all alone, the sponsors were sitting there, and as I said, I'm a very lazy person, and one more qualification, highly disorganized or unorganized person. So my Rudram papers were in hand. I hold one piece, the second piece will fall away, the third sheet will be there. Sequence was missing. I just did Guru Paduka and continued. Does it mean the next time when I come, oh, I did it like that, let me do it that way? No. Moment I say that, my ego has come in. The whole process, the whole technique, not even technique, the whole objective of this entire process is to destroy your ego in as many innovative ways as possible. Okay? So if you are doing your homam, if you make mistakes, Guru Padaka and move on. No big deal.
Yeah, there's another question. Do we ever consecrate Visheshargyam for homam?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand. Because what do you mean consecrating? Visheshargyam means it's already consecrated. I mean to say, do we offer Visheshargyam for homam? If that is the question, yes, we do. When we do Navavarana homam, that's what we do.
Oh, the question he's posting is, I mean to say, do we have Visheshargya Patram there or only ghee?
Visheshargya Patram will be separate from ghee. We invoke Sudha Lakshmi and all that into Visheshargyam. We give the Visheshargyam to the Guru, and then we take the Visheshargyam and partake that with the rest of the participants, and then use that Visheshargyam along with the ghee to perform the remaining part of the homam. We do not invoke Visheshargyam or Sudha Lakshmi into the ghee. If that's another answer that I can give for that. I did not look into the camera, so you may be feeling that I'm looking somewhere and answering. I'm looking at the board. Sorry about it.
Next question. Can Homam be performed with Panchadasi?
Yes, it can be. But the question would be, because I just gave you a brief answer because the question was just about as brief. Okay, so what exactly do you want to do with Panchadasi? Panchadasi Swaha, is that what you want to do? If that's what you want to do, yes, you can. You can. But then the invocation, you will have to follow the nyasams and all. Well, you can do it. No big deal. You can do it. So what next?
So that probably was the next question. Ayya. Is there any prerequisite to be done prior to Panchadasi Homa?
One should be initiated into Panchadashi. That's the first bare minimum prerequisite, right? And second thing, Amma, before you do this homam, quite a lot of, okay, let us do this home. That before you can do anything of that kind, you should do some sadhana on that mantra. Say Panchadashi, you will at least a few tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of Panchadashi, you should have recited. Then, it becomes more effective. Plus, the body, this kshetram will have enough endurance to take that quantum leap. So, but otherwise, yes, you can do it. You'll have to be initiated. You do some sadhana on that. And then for Panchadashi, you have the regular dhyana slokams and all that. You can use that. Then go ahead with your homam. Ayya, should we always do Ganapati and Navagraha before we do Rudram or Kamalatmika Mandala? It is, Ganapati is a definite yes. You have to do it. Okay, how elaborate you will do Ganapati is up to you. Because normally we will do if Kamalat, that's why when we do the invocation, Bahurupa Kshijikvayam Pradhana Devatam Avakya. Now, if we are doing, since Ganapati is first, if that home is essentially Ganapati home, then we'll say Pradhana Devatam Avakya and invoke Ganapati. Fair enough. If it is a Kamalatmika homam, then the Pradhana Devata is Kamalatmika. So, Mahaganapatim Avakya, because Pradhana Devata comes afterwards. Okay? So, Ganapati, we need to do it. And if it is Kamalatmika, that is going to be the main homam. 4 minimum ahutis for Ganapati is good enough. Rest of it, it is, and regarding a Navagraha homam, you can keep it as simple as possible. If you don't want to spend too much of time, Aditya Somaya Mangalaya Budhacha Guru Shukra Shaneshwarabhya Rahave Ketave Nama Swaha Aditya Navagraha Devata Bhyo Idan Nama, over. And then you offer the necessary Panchopacharas for the Navagrahas and then move on. What else?
Don't see any other questions following here. So I think we can go through.
Okay. Now, in that case, I would want to talk a little bit about this Agnimukham and the discussion that went back and forth. Pardon? Do we have one? Should we do small Purnahuti? Yeah, we can offer it. The thing is, the small is by size or small is by concept. Yes, you can offer it. The same normal ghee itself, you just chant this one and offer it as Purnahuti. You don't have to have a package necessarily. You can offer it. Okay. So, there was a small discussion, a little amount of back and forth regarding the inconsistencies in the order of steps while performing Agnimukham. Okay. So after I saw the discussion yesterday, I went through a few websites myself, because I myself was following certain things which are not as elaborate as it. As one of as the discussion was trying to point to. Okay. With that said, when I looked at the websites and all that, and one of the prominent link that I stumbled upon was Guruji's explanation of this Agnimukham process on YouTube. Okay. After this class is over, I'll post that link. You all can go through it as well. When I looked at that and compared what we had in Devi Paduka and what we have in Kamalatmika Homam, once again, there are inconsistencies. Okay. But what I was given to understand subsequently is what we have placed in Kamalatmika is something that is verified from what they have been doing in Devi Puram, and that becomes our veritable reference. But then again, the smart question comes back. If it is from Devi Puram, how come Guruji said something and Kamalatmika has something else? Possible? Possible. But let me do one thing. At this point, to just clarify, to dispel the ambiguity, I'll tell you what exactly Guruji said in YouTube. Principally, the Agnimukham process, it differed in the construction of Agnikonam, number one. Sorry, Agni Chakram, number one. Number two, the invocation or the Hridayadinyasam for Agni. These are the two places that it significantly differed from one text to the other text to the other. Okay. In the case of Guruji, of course, you will have to forgive me. I'm not an artist. My drawing or my presentation will be a little less than bare bones. You have to bear with me. Okay. For example, so what Guruji says is, in the case of Agnimukham, first of all, what exactly is Agni Chakram? Agni Chakram, it has got 3 layers. That is, there is an Ashtakonam, there is a Shatkonam, and then there is a Trikonam. The Ashtakonam is supposed to represent the Muladhara Chakram. The Muladhara is only 4. How come it is 8? Concept you will understand when you look at the 3rd Avaranam in the Sri Yantra. If I go deeper into that, we'll be digressing. 3rd Avaranam is 8 petals and it refers to Muladhara, Prithvi Tattvam. Okay? Refer to that, you will get to know. Now, after that, the next Shatkonam is supposed to represent the Swadhisthana. Okay? And then the 3rd one, the triangle, is supposed to represent the Agna Chakram. Not Manipuram. You jump start from there. You just go there. Okay? These are the 3 layers. And in the 3 layers, and apart from the 3 layers, you have got that so-called Hridayadinyasam. Why do we do Hridayadinyasam? Nya Shabdam Devatahvanam Sa Shabdam Sthapanam Kuru Atah Karna Yadyasmat Nyasa iti Abhidhiyate. That procedure which invites and installs a deity is called Nyasa. And when we perform Homam, this particular Hridayadinya, Sahasracha Hridaya Yadamaha Swasti Purna Shradase Swaha Uttishta Purusha Shikhaya Vashte Dhumavyapaneka Vachayuhum Saptajikvaya Netratrayaya Voshate Dhanudharaya Astraya Phate Bhuhu Bhuvaha Suvaha Om Digbandha. Back home, Bhur Bhuvasoro Digbandhar, Bhur Bhuvasoro Digbandha. Variations. We do that. That's how we do it on our body. In Homam, this Nyasam, we do it first on our body, then on the place where we are supposed to perform the Homam. Then we will perform the Nyasam on the fire that is lit up inside the home, so that Agni, the concept of Agni or the energy of Agni is continuously present right from the Karta into that fire. And from there he becomes Avyavahana. He will take the thing and dare to deliver to whichever deity is supposed to deliver. And performing the nyasam on the body is easy. That has been the easiest part. Then after that, performing this nyasam on the Homa Kundam, it changes. I am taking the Homa Kundam as square because for general Loka Kalyanam purposes, this is the ideal shape. If you want to have a kamyam, this is better. Okay. If it is a kamyam, you have better to have a yoni shaped Homa Kundam and so on. Let us not get into those details and just get digressed. Okay. If this is the Homa Kundam and this is north. Okay. If this is the Homa Kundam, so what happens is this becomes east, this becomes west, this is north, this is south. Okay. Now what you do? Sahasrachise Hridaya Yadamaha Swastipurna Shirase Swaha Namaha Uttishta Purushaya Shikhai Vashan Namaha Dhumavyapine Kavachaya Gham Namaha Saptajikvaya Netratrayaya Voshan Namaha Dhanudharaya Astraya Phat Namaha. 6. Then Bhuhu Bhuvaha Suvaha Om Mijidigbandhaha. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is how the nyasam should be performed on the Homa Kundam. But here is where people try to differ in their concepts. Okay, we don't have 4. The way I understand it, but then again, this is purely me. It doesn't have to be. Should somebody mute their mic? So, this is me. Okay, this is how I understand it. Okay, this chakram, typically, the deities, they are already there. You are trying to identify the geometry. You are trying to realize the geometry. Okay, there are 2 ways of doing it. One is draw the geometry and stick to it physically. 2, just have a focus of one point, keep doing it. At one point, the geometry will hit you in the face. Okay. You do not have to dictate the geometry to the deities, that then they know their positions. You don't have to dictate it to them. That is one way of looking at it. One way of looking at it. So if that is the way you would want to do, in fact, here the process we follow is we see how Ayya does it. Ayya doesn't keep on going all over the Homa Kundam. His focus is in one place, and that's how our Guru has groomed us. It's not that he is asking us to disregard a particular procedure. No, that's not what he meant. But there is one way of doing it. Here, probably, I mean, you may tend to agree with me. I would want to quote something from Jaggi Vasudev, Sadguru. He speaks about these 4 yogas: Jnana Yogam, Bhakti Yogam, Karma Yogam, Kriya Yogam. These 4, actually, they correspond to 4 aspects or 4 entities that govern our personality. One is our body. Okay. Second is our realization, intuition, insight, and intellect. Okay. And third one is our emotions. And fourth one is our energy, the Shakti. Energy means not E equal to mc square. It is the Shakti that is inside us, the life energy, life force inside us. If we focus entirely on our body and only the body is going to do this one, that becomes karma yoga. You do that, everything. You just forget about everything else. You just keep doing things. That is karma yoga. If you zero in on your emotions and only one emotion out there, that is just the divinity, nothing else, that becomes bhakti yoga. If you focus entirely on the awareness, nothing else matters to you, just pure awareness, that is jnana yoga. And if you focus on the energy, that's where kriya yoga, and also when you focus on the kriyas, nothing else matters to you, that becomes kriya yoga. Or your what is that? Bhakti, Jnana, Karma. What is the fourth yoga? Bhakti, Jnana, Kriya yoga. But the real success lies in the fact that each yoga should recognize that the other yoga has got some space. Allow that space it deserves. Okay? You have to allow it that the space it deserves. Just because you are into bhakti, you cannot say the other guy is an underdog. Okay? As long as you do that, that's when you are able to get all these things to converge to a place of that so-called nothingness, the infinite nothingness. To get there, yes, that's right. Yes, that's right. The moment you say, no, only this is the way, first thing is, you have lost the opportunity of using the other methodologies. Second one, your ego has come in. Boom. Everything has gone to pieces. Okay? So here, doing all this to this one, it is kind of a karma yoga. You are using the body. There is a physical point. This point after A, it is B. After B, it is C. Putting purely on the awareness, the center point, and nowhere else, everything else will fall in its place on their own. Jnana yoga. Kriya yoga. Whenever you're doing it, you are doing the, you're moving your body, doing the nyasam, that becomes a kriya yoga. And the bhakti yoga, that is just, okay, that guy is there, he will take care of it. Let me do it. My guru is there, he'll take care of it. Agni is there, he'll take care of it. Let me just do my, whatever, this is all I know. Not is Swami na virodha hige. So we'll just do it. All are fine. But only thing is, but one thing, if you already know this process, and if you are capable of doing that process, don't let your ego come and say, hey, no, you don't have to do it. The difference is very, very subtle. Very subtle. Sometime back, a devotee came to our temple from Canada. Okay? She was allowed to do the Sannidhi Puja. So she was doing Sannidhi Puja. She was passing the Chandi Durga, Vishnu Durga near that Dhvajastambam. Then I told her, look, Amma, you finish Vishnu Durga and then go to the Navagrahas and do it. Immediately the question, why? You think God, Ambal is so unkind that if I do there and come here, she's going to curse me or something? Is she not kind enough to accept that kind of slip up? Yes. She is very kind to accept the slip up, provided you commit that slip up without your ego coming in the way. She accepts us, let me do that. Then, no, nahi chalta. Okay, that's the difference. So here, yes, the actual engineered process, the way the process is engineered is Hridayayana Sahasratsya Hridayayana Swasti Purnaya Sadase Swaha Uttishta Purusha Shikhaya Vishnu Dhuma Vyapane Kavachayagam Saptadikvaya Netratrayaya Votri Dhanudharaya Astraya Phat Bhuhu Bhuvaha Suvaha Om iti Digbandaha. In fact, Ayya said, this is a very important point that you have to remember. Ayya said, what he does is after the home, that nyasam is done, bhuhu bhuva. It's not just snapping the fingers. It's actually drawing the lines. Bhuhu. Bhuvaha, Suvaha, Om. When he does that, he will see 4 streaks of light, defining the perimeter where the home is going to happen. Okay? So that is the key. So when you do all this one, if you are, you should not use the word capable of, but if that kind of a streak of light kind of energy, you are not going to go look for light and things like that, but when you are able to invoke that kind of energy, that level of energy, you are there. You are there. But sticking to anything, just that and nothing else, it's very hard for you to get there. Okay? But going by the Shastras, going by the Parshurama Kalpa Sutras as explained by Guruji in that YouTube link, this is how the Nyasam is performed on the Homukundam. After you perform the Nyasam on Homukundam, if you want to, when you perform the Nyasam on the Homam, on the fire itself, then what happens is the Shatkonam comes in. Right? Is it over? Okay. Shatkonam. And then here you will start from the place. Normally, if this is the configuration in the temple, this is where the person sits. Okay. Now, if he sits here, wherever the person is, suppose the person is sitting here, so be it. Wherever the person is sitting here, from the apex that is nearest to him, he will have to start. Sahasrat se hridayaya namaha, swasti purnaya sadase swaha namaha, uttishta purushaya shikhaya vashan namaha, dhumavya bhineka vachaya hum namaha, saptaikva netratrayaya oshan namaha, dharudharaya astraya phat namaha. That is for the Agni once it is lit, when the fire is lit. Now, one of the reasons I'm trying to be as lazy as this is, I'm giving you homework. Go and look into the YouTube link. This is explained in a 26-minute elaborate video. Okay, with all graphics, with all English text and Telugu explanation, it's there. Okay, and the other one, the Ashtakonam. Ashtakonam, what happened was, bear with me for a second. In the Kamalatmika work, they have drawn petals and all that. That petal configuration, they got it from Sri Vidya, Sri Chakra Upasana, Sri Chakra Puja book and all that. That's how they do it. Okay. In fact, this is where the square and the way they went to that Nyasam for Agni, they used the square and then used the square to represent it. That's where they went a little away from the way the explanation was given by Guruji. That is because that square concept was borrowed from Sri Chakra Upasana. Okay. Once again, which is right? Both are right. If you want to follow that, you follow. If you want to follow this, follow this. But if you want to stick to the book until you are stuck with the book, okay, you can use Parashurama Kalpa Sutras as explained by Guruji. Fair enough. And one more point to note, as I said in the beginning, the Kamalatmika Homa Vidhanam that we have printed is something that is verified thoroughly by Devi Puram, and they use that process over there today. With that said, according to the Parashurama Kalpa Sutras, this is how they describe the Ashtakonam. Okay, and here also, if it is the first portion, when you are talking about Dikpalakas, you will start from here, you will go this way. And after that, when you come to the Agni's attributes, that is Pitaya Namaha, Shvetaya Namaha, Arunaya Namaha, Krishnaya Namaha, Dhumraya Namaha, Tivraya Namaha, Spulinginya Namaha, Rajraya Namaha, Jwalinya Namaha. Then there is Shatkonam, Tam Tamse Namaha, Ramrase Namaha, Samsatvaya Namaha. That is there you go in for the Shatkonam here once again. How do I draw this? Shatkonam. There you once again starting from the nearest to this one. Tam tamasenam haram rasenam samsatvayanam amatmenam ammantratmenam pamparamatmenam hrim jnanatmane namaha. It is going clockwise. Pradakshina margam is what is adopted here, not apradakshina margam. Because in Sri Chakra Puja, more often than not, you use apradakshina margam, not pradakshina margam. And they do that for a specific reason. The reason is there. It is not that they want to do it because they want to be different. But the Sri Chakra Puja concept is it has a different connotation. We should not. It is not a perfect thing, or it's not a great thing to mix it up with this. Okay. With that said, any questions up till now? There is one more point regarding Agnimukam that I have to point out. I'll point that out as well. Then after that, you can ask your questions. That is, initially, when you are doing the Brahmane Namaha, Yamaya Namaha, Somaya Namaha, in Vaidika Vidhana, what you do is, if you have a Homa Kundam, on the Homa Kundam, you'll about half an inch thick, you'll put in the rice flour. Okay? You'll put in the rice flour, and on the rice flour, you'll write this chakra. Okay? And the first one, Sahasra, Brahmane, Namaha, those things, as you do it, you are going to place the darbhas along that direction. I've seen that back home, long time back. Yeah, I'll answer the questions a little while later. Okay? So here, the way it is done, again, the person is sitting here. Okay? Number one, Brahmane Namaha. Okay? Then, Yamaya Namaha. Then, Somaya Namaha. So, 1, 2, 3. In the same way, Vishnave Namaha. Sorry, Rudraya Namaha. Then, Vishnave Namaha. Then, Indraya Namaha. So, here again, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6. Okay? This is according to Parashurama Kalpa Sutras as explained by Guruji. And this took all kinds of variation. Suddenly they start saying from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Somebody said that. Then somebody said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Got mixed up. Got mixed up. Yes. But sticking to book, this is how it is. It can be done this. Now, questions. What about the lines of Akshatas? Daniel Moore. Yeah, I think the lines of Akshatas is what I'm explaining here. If your Homukundam is shallow, if you have the rice flour spread over there, you can take the Dharma and draw the lines that way. Brahmane Namaha, Yamaya Namaha, Somaya Namaha. Otherwise, Akshatas, Brahmane Namaha, in the same sequence that I described, you can do it. Okay? Then what's the next question? You already answered. Perfect. What is the reason behind doing the clockwise in Sri Chakra Puja? That let us not draw that into the scope of today's discussion, because we'll be going somewhere else. Who is that? Who asked that question? Sai Susashi Sundaresh. Because in Telugu there is a saying, I can't say that now. She speaks Tamil. Okay. Pittakatha kan burrakatha kanna pittakatha ekkuvaindi. That means peripheral stuff becomes more overwhelming than the main stuff. So it becomes a totally different this thing. So let us not draw it there. Okay, what's the next question? Purnahuti, what about lines of Chadar, Brahmane Namaha, Yamaya Namaha, and so on. Reason behind doing anti-clockwise. Because in Sri, okay, let me give you one small snippet. In Sri Chakra Puja, we will do, at least in the, when it comes to the Sri Yantra itself, the first avaranam is clockwise, second avaranam is counterclockwise, third avaranam is clockwise. After that, everything else is counterclockwise. And there's a reason for it. But for that, you do a little more adhyanam of the Sri Yantra, then probably it will make sense to discuss further on that. Okay. So, anything else?
There's one question here. Could you elaborate on the Purnahuti process?
Elaborate on Purnahuti process. Purnahuti process, you are going to use these two tools, kind of starting from the grassroots, explanation from the grassroots, ground zero. Rik, Srik, or they are also called Sruvam. One represents the masculine concept, another represents the feminine concept. Okay, from the masculine concept, the energy is supposed to flow into the feminine, and the feminine, the synthesis is supposed to flow into the Homa Kundam. That is how the whole thing is conceptualized. Okay, so, and for this one, there are several traditions. The tradition that we follow and what I have seen in several places is you offer the ghee 12 times into the Struvam. That is Ekam, Dvijayam, Tridiyam. That's how that some people say. Some people say Ekam, Dve, Treni, Chatvari, and so on. Okay. Some people say Evam, Dvijayam, Tridiyam. All are fine. All they basically they are more than anything else, they are numbers. Because here you'll have to understand, or you have to keep in mind, in Sanskrit, what happens is there are some phrases and some sentences that are statements. And in a different context, what appears as statement can be a mantra. So you have to distinguish between, or you have to identify whether it is a mantra or a statement. And if it is a mantra, you have to chant it the way it is. If it is a statement, you have the liberty to modify. Same thing. Say, for example, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha Swaha in Atharva Shirsham, Gakara Purva Rupam, Akaro Madhyama Rupam, Anuswarascha Antya Rupam, Binduruttara Rupam, Nadasandhanam Tagumhita Sandhi, Saisha Ganesha Vidya, Ganakarshihi, Nichrid Gayatri Chandaha, Ganapadir Devata, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha Swaha. There, Gam Ganapataye Namaha is a Dashakshari mantra of Ganapati. And in other context, we'll say Ganapataye Swaha, because there, Namaha is optional, because you say Namaha as a statement. It depends on where you are going to use. Some place you can omit, some place you cannot omit. With that said, here we offer ghee. Evam, Dvijayam, Tridiyam, Turiyam, Panchamam, Shashtamam, Saptamam, Ashtamam, Navamam, Dashamam, Ekadashamam, Dvadashamam, 12th. I was talking to a priest in Indianapolis last time when I was on a project there. He said we offer it 15 times. That's their tradition. And because I was trying to find out what exactly these 12 represents, I have not gotten a comfortable answer yet. They gave some people gave some, but I'm not really happy about the answer. At least I'm not convinced. So I'm still trying to dig out the truth. Truth in the sense, whatever, more, something that is more mouthful kind of. Okay. Once I get the answer, I'll post it in the group. But otherwise, we will take that this one 12 times, and then Purnahuti Muttamam Juhoti, Sarvam Vai Purnahuti, Sarvamevapnoti, Athoyam vai purnahuti. What is this? Okay, I tend to forget that. Asyameva prajadishtati, right? One second. Purnahujamuttamam jhoja sarvam vai purnahuti sarvamevapnoji adhoyam vai purnahuti asyameva pradishtati. So saying, you will let the ajyam go through the sruk into the homakundam. Okay? And then purnahuja muhurta sumuhurto astu XYZ devata suprita suprasanna suhuta santushta varado bhavatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Then of course you will go for the Vasodhara. Shanchame Mayaschame. That is basically our Shaivite, this one. If it is Vaishnavite, they use something else. I believe they will not want to use this. Shanchame Mayaschame Priyanchame Nukamaschame Kamaschame Somanasachame Bhadranchame Shreyaschame Vasyachame Yashaschame Bhagaschame Dravinanchame Yantachame Dhartachame Kshemaschame Rudhischame Vishwanchame Mahaschame Samvichame Jnatranchame Suschame Prasoschame Siranchamalayachame Mrutanchame Yakshmanchame Namayaschame Jivaduschame Dirghayutvanchame Namitranchame Bhayanchame Juganchame Shayadanchame Sushachame Sudinanchame. I didn't want to stop it in the middle. This one we have to say the thing completely. That's one thing. Second thing, the trick or the key is, it's very difficult. We fail. Number one, all this should be chanted in one breath. Number two, as long as the chanting is going on, the Vasodhara should be flowing. It should not stop. That is the requirements they specify, but more often than not, we tend to fail in that. It just exhausts or things like that. Okay. With that said, the Kamalatmika Homam, in fact, you said Kamalatmika Homam, we never discussed Kamalatmika. Okay. Kamalatmika, one of the reasons we probably did not discuss is you already know about it. It's not that you do not know. It's only that Mula Mantra that changes. For that, the corresponding Dhyana Shlokam and so on. Now, any further questions? You mean to say put the ghee into the stick 12 times? Yes. 12 times into the shrik, and then from this Purnahuti Muttamam Juhoti, from that point on the Purnahuti mantram starts. And if you are already initiated into Mahavakyas, Mahavakya Purnahutim Unmattan Dadayakam or something like that. So if you offer Purnahuti with your Mahavakyas, you are going to get Unmattan the Sayujyam, you are going to get the Sayujyam of Dattatreya. Dattatreya Hare Krishna Unmattanandadayaka, you are going to merge with him. So if you have already been given Mahavakyas, you use Mahavakyas for offering Purnahuti. Okay? What else? Sri Chakra Puja, okay. Is it okay for ghee patram? It's okay for, yes, it is okay for ghee patram to move. In Sri Chakra Puja, you are not supposed to move the Visheshargyam and Samanargyam. Yes. But everything else can. In fact, any patram that is your patra sadhanam, whatever that you have done, they are supposed to stay stationary. That is Vardhani Kalasham, but here we do move Vardhani Kalasham. Vardhani Kalasham, Vishesha Samanargyam, Visheshargyam, Balipatram, Guru Patram, like that, whatever. Anything else? Any question on a Kamalatmika specific basis? Because as I see, the Kamalatmika Homa is only that particular variation, and provided you do a little amount of japam on Kamalatmika before you do the home, that makes it more effective for you.
Yeah, there is a question. Yeah, why is Kamalatmika used for the Mandala Homa? Why is that deity used for the mandala home?
No, more than why, it is decided here. It is decided that thing is Kamalatmika, since it is Mahalakshmi, and object, it's a kind of a kamya homam that it is being performed. Basically, in the view of getting the new temple to manifest as soon as possible. For that, whatever resources we need, in order for the resources to manifest in the most congenial way, we decided to perform Mandala Homam of Kamalatmika. That's it.
I don't see any further question. I don't see any questions listed. Yeah, maybe we can go through the because we have another 40 minutes for the session to be done. So we
Okay.
can go mantras and then just overview on that.
Sure. But this one, for the most part, it will be me reading out the thing rather than anything else. Okay. The homam typically starts with Guru Padaka. Aim Hrim Shrim Aim Klim. So that depends on what Guru Padaka. That depends on what Guru Padaka. Okay, project on her. Yeah. Thank you. Amma, you simulate while I chant. Okay. Thank you. Om Aim Hrim Shrim Aim Klim So Hamsa Shivaso Ham Hamsa Hasaka Frame Hasat Chamala Varayum Hasaum Sahat Chamala Varayim Saho Swarupani Rupana Hetave Swagurave Srimadnyanam Vigasamita Sri Chaitanyanandanath Sri Guru Sri Padukam Pujayam Darpayam Namaha. Om Aim Hrim Shrim Aim Klim So Hamsa Shivaso Ham Hamsa Hasaka. Okay. Here we are chanting the Guru Padika for the entire Ogatrayam. Okay. Om Hamsa Shivaso Ham Hamsa Hasaka Frame Hasat Chamala Varayum Hasaum Sahat Chamala Varayim Saho Swacha Prakash Vimarsha Hetave Paramagurave Srimad Annapur Namba Sameta Amma Paramaguru motorbike. Yeah, Subrata Mudra. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Paramagurave Annapurnamba Sameta Amrutanandanadha Paramaguru Sri Padukam Pujayam Darpayam Namaha Prajnanam Brahmayam Atma Brahmadatvamasi Aham Brahmasmi Om Hamsat Shivaso Ham Hamsah Hasaka Frema Chamala Varyum Sam Chamala Varayim Saho Swarupana Hetave Parameshtigurave Pranasikyam Basameta Soprakashanandanatha Parameshtiguru Sri Padukam Pujayam Darpayam Namaha. Om Purvanga Puja. Om Devim Vachamajanayanta Devaha Tam Vishwarupa Pasavo Vajanti Sano Mantre Jumudjam Duhanana Sano Mantreshu Shano Mantresha Murjam Duhana Jenurvagasman Pashustudaitu Ayam Muhurta Sumuhurto Astu Shuklambaradharam Vishnum Shashivardam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye Mamopata Samastu Duridakshaya Dvara Shri Parameshwari Prityartham Ado Vigneshwara Dhyanam Karishye. You think of Ganapati, then after that Dakshinamurti Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmat Acharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Then you will take Achamanam. In Achamanam, I may add a sentence here. Normally, Keshavaya Swaha, Narayanaya Swaha, Madhavaya Swaha, Govindaya Namaha. We stop at that. Back home, what we were doing is we used to add Angavandanam. Each time we do Achamanam, we add Angavandanam as well. Angavandanam means another 21 names of Vishnu. Okay. And there is a Chidambaram tradition where I think they use 10 or 11, 12 names for that. Okay. But that may not be in context right now. So I'm trying to omit that. If you are interested, I'll send it separately. Whoever like to have it. Okay. Then after that, Prithvi Tvaya Thuta Om Asya Shri. Next, you are going to do the puja for the place you are sitting. Asya Shri Asanaman Mahamantrasya Prithivya Hamiro Prushtashrihi Suram Chanda Kurmo Devata Asne Vinyoga Prithvi Tvaya Thuta Loka Devi Tvam Vishna Thuta Panchadarayamam Devi Pavitrancha Asanam Guru Om Yogasana Yanamaha with the akshara starting from your left side. Yogasana Yanamaha Virasana Yanamaha Sharasana Yanamaha Samyogasana Yanamaha Om Hrim Adhar Shakti Kamalasana Yanamaha Raktadvaja Shakti Yukta Dvipanatha Yanamaha Bhuma Devi Namaha. After the Bhumi Puja, that is Asana Puja, you are going to do the puja for Ghanta. Okay. Om Jagadhani Mantramata Hum Phat Swaha Agamat Tantu Devanam Nirgamat Tantu Rakshasam Kurukar Ghantarvam Karom Yado Devatakvana Karanam Iti Ghantanadam Krutva. You will ring the bell. You will apply kumkum to the bell and you will ring it. Okay. You basically in Hindu tradition is the technique they use is every aspect that you use, everything that you use, convert it into God. So much so at one point you will convert yourself into God. Once you are converted into God, you have achieved the objective. That's the technique they use. Okay. So then you will have to convert the kalasham and the kalasham contents into God. That is kalasasya mukhe Vishnuho. How do you do it? You will take the panchapatram. You will hold the uddharina between your middle finger and ring finger, and with your palm you will close the panchapatram. Panchapatram is supposed to be kind of a closed, airtight. No light should pass through. Okay. Om Kalasasya mukhe Vishnu Kanthe Rudra Samachita Mule Tattvaschito Brahma Madhye Matragana Smrutaha Kuchaudasagara Sarve Saptadvipa Vasundhara Rigveda Yajurveda Samaveda Pyatharvanaha Angaichasaita Sarve Kalashambu Samashritaha Ayantu XYZ Pujartam Dhuridakshakaraka Gange Chemune Chaiva Godavari Saraswati Narmada Sindhu Kaveri Jale Asmin Sannidhim Kuru. This is important. When this you will have to start from the point on the kalasham or the panchapatram that is closest to you, and you have to go in the anti-clockwise direction. Im im basically that forms your vishuddhi. Im im rum rum lum lum im om aham. Then Om Hrim Dram Dattatreya Hare Krishna Unmattanandadayaka Digambaramune Balapichachi Jnanasagara Dram Hrim Om Dattatreya Yadamaha. Okay. Ide Pujo Bakarana Dravyani Atmanancha Samprotshaya. Take the water from the Panchapatram. You are going to do the prokshanam of the entire place. Whatever the tools that are being used, the person that is doing the puja, and the kalasham and the periphery, you are going to do the prokshana. Then after that, next you will have to involve at this point, if you are installing Bhairava Kalasham, you will invoke Varuna into that, or otherwise you can invoke the Varuna into your Panchapatram and use it for the subsequent process. No big deal. Okay. Imam me varunashudhiva madhya chamradayatvam vasyurajake tattvayamir brahmana vandamanasta asha aste yamano havirbhihi aheramano varuniya bojrajagum sagum samana ayuh pramoshi hasraim haskalarim hasrasoh. This is one of the reasons it is called Rahasya Vidya. One of the reasons. Aim Klim Soh is Bala. Haim Haklim Hasoh. You add Hakaram. Hakaram is Surya. Ham, Him, Hum, Haim, Hom, Ha, Malavaryum, Surya Mandala, Yinama, Hakaram. Then Hasaim, Hasklim, Hasoh, Sam, Sim, Sum, Saim, Som, Sa, Samalavarayum, So Mandala, Yinama. You add the lunar aspect. Then Ram, Reem, Room, Raim, Rom, Raharamalavarayum, Agni Mandala, Yinama, Hasraim, Hasraklim, Hasrasoh, or Hasraim, Haskalarim, Hasrasoh. So basically, by the time you go to the Agna Chakram, that's why this is done at the Agna Chakram level. You are going for that Bala, the Mula Triputi. The main Triputi is Aim, Klim, So. For the Triputi, you add the sun, the moon, the fire. These three, the ha, sa, ra, or ra, ha, sa, that becomes rahasya. Rahasya vidya means two things. One is it is secretive, but it also means it is a vidya that involves these three. Okay? Hasraim, Haskalarim, Hasrasoh, Mahabadmanantaste, Karanananda. Right? Kalisasthabane Sarvabhutaidena Ekyehi Parameshwara Varamurtimavahayami Sthayami Sampujayami Namaha. Then you will bring in the attributes of Varuna. Om Aim Hrim Shrim Apam Pataye Namaha Surupine Namaha Pachahastaya Namaha Jalajipataye Namaha Makarasana Namaha. Some people say Makaravahana Namaha Varsetase Namaha Padmini Jivanayaka Namaha Madhvarudha Namaha. What is that? Marudvarudaya Namaha. Samudra Gaminye Namaha. Samudragaminyai namaha, Sarva Samudrarajaya namaha, Sarva Samudradhipataye namaha. Then you will invoke typically 20, at least 21 rivers. Gangayai namaha, Yamunayai namaha, Saraswatye namaha, Narmadayai namaha, Sindhave namaha, Sarayuve namaha, Gomatye namaha, Kamalayai namaha, Gandakye namaha, Kedagayai namaha, Phalgunjye namaha, Godavariyai namaha, Krishnayai namaha, Bhadraye namaha, Tungabhadraye namaha, Kaveriye namaha, Sabarmatye namaha, Vaikaye namaha, Tamravarnye namaha, Gangotriye namaha, Yamunotriye namaha, Chitravatye namaha, Nayagadaye namaha, Janasye namaha, Bhavajrumbhakaye vidmahe Pachahastaya dhimahi tanno varna prachodayat Matsya mudran pradarshya. With that, Varuna is installed. Varnamurtaye namasakala adadhanaihi swachidam. Once you do that, then comes the Bhairava, installing of Bhairava. This one, if you are installing Varuna into the Bhairava Kalasham, then you are going to, at that point, invoke Bhairava into the Kalasham, put in the coconut and things like that. Here, once again, comes a tradition. In fact, when I came here to the temple, initially, they used to place the Kalasham vertically with the eyes facing upwards, even for Bhairava Kalasham. Then after that, so the tradition changed. They put the coconut facing north, horizontally, the eyes facing north. And even the Kurcham, we used to have Kurcham facing outward. It is called Bahir Kurcham. And then nowadays, for the last several years, we will place the Kurcham into the Kalasham. This is called Antar Kurcham. And so, Rakta Jwala Jatadaram Suvimalam Raktanga Tejomayam Dhrutva Shulapasa Kapaldamarukam Lokasya Rakshakaram Nirvadam Shunavahanam Trinayanam Ananda Kola Halam Vande Sarvabhuta Pishachana Vatukam Kshetrasya Palam Shivam Suvanadhvajaya Vidmahe Trishula Hastaya Dhimahi Tanno Bhairava Prachodayat. Is that? Cream, 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 hum, hum, hrim, hrim, Dakshine Kalike, cream, 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 hum, hum, hrim, hrim, swaha. Dakshina Kalika Sameta Bhairavana Vahayami Sthayami Sampujayami Namaha. Then after that, Mahabadmavanantaste Karananda Kalashastapane Sarvabhutaitenata Ekye Parameshwara Parameshwari Dakshina Kalika Sameta Kshetrapala Bhairavama Vahayami. Now I hear, to be honest, I use small my own phrase. Once again, this is a statement. Okay, so what I do is Kshetrapalam Mahadevam Bhairavashtakamurtinam Dakshinakali-yutam Vande Ehyehi Surottama. That Ehyehi is the key. Around the Ehyehi, I just spin off a different set of phrases. That's all. Okay, so with that, Bhairava is installed. Then after that, now comes the actual Agnimukham. Agnim dotam vranimahe hotaram vishwavedasam asya yajnasya sukrutam ram rim rum raim raum raharamalavarayum agnimandala yadamaha. Here the sequence is a little, not exactly jumbled up, Each tradition uses a different this one. Here in what the way it is described, we use Agni, then after that Surya, then after that Chandra. But normally what I do at home in the temple is first Surya, Agni, which is that Asatyendra sa Vartamano Niveshan. This is Surya Mudra, or you can just put it this way. This is easier. Surya Mudran Pradarshya Asatyendra sa Vartamano Niveshan Namatam Matyam Charanjena Savitaratena Devo Yajbhona Pasyan Ham Him Hum Haim Haum Hamalavariyom Surya Mandala Yadamaha. You look into the Homukundam through that mudra. So basically you are invoking that this one into the Homukundam premises. Okay, then Apyaya Swasamedu Devi Vishwada Sovrishnyam Bhava Vajasya Sangade Sam Sim Sum Saim Saum Sasamalavariyom Somandala Yadamaha Agnim Dotam Vrnimahe Hotaram Vishwavedasam Asya Yagnacha Sukritam. Ajiti, only the last two things. The last two. Last. You cannot join the ring finger. Ring finger should be left open. Okay. Ram, Reem, Room, Raim, Rom, Raharamalavario, Agni Mandala, Yadamaha. Agni is supposed to have 7 tongues. 3, 3, and then center joined. Agni Mandala, Yadamaha. Then Ajite Anumanyasva. This one. You take the Uddharana water and then from south to north on your right side, assuming that the Karta is facing the north direction. Ajite Anumanyasva. Hanumate Anumanyasva, Saraswate Anumanyasva, Devasavita Prasuva. Again, this again is a tradition related thing. Back home, when I was initially taught that Agni, we call it Samita Danam. After the Homa, the Upanayana is done, Samita Danam is performed. That traditionally, until that guy, that Brahmachari, he gets married, he is supposed to perform the so-called homam on a daily basis. Okay, and it is a much more concise home when compared. You do not have this elaborate Agnimukham and all that. Okay, there in the Samhita Dharma, we do this thing. Ajite Anumanyaswa, Anumate Anumanyaswa, Saraswate Anumanyaswa, Deva Savita Prasu. We don't go in the north direction at all. Deva Savita Prasuva. That is our tradition there. Here, Deva Savita Prasuva. Okay, that means you will start, go towards north, come back into south, go to west, from there go to north, go to east, and then come back, retrace your path, and then leave the water facing north. That's how it is. Okay. Deva Savita Prasuva. If it is this one, Agnaye Samidamaharusham Yatavedese. I forget that. That is Samitadhan. Yadatvam Agne Samidha Samidjase Evam Mamayusha Vachasa Sanya Medhaya Prajaya Pashubihi Brahmavacha Senanadhyena Samedhaya Swaha. Is the Swaha starts right there. 17 ahutis. Since you guys, if you are going to, when you go to India, Nayurvi Samhita, 17 of them. Like that, your son, he can really try. He used to do that. If he is not doing it, let him chant it. 17, this one. It's so beautiful. It's very good for him. 17 ahutis. Anyway, that is called Samhita Dhanam. Let us keep that aside. When it comes to this one, so Deva Savita Prasuva, then after that comes your Brahmane Namaha, the center line. Brahmane Namaha. Always the lines are drawn either from west to east or south to north, not in the other direction. Brahmane Namaha, Yamaya Namaha. See here, I think we already have it here. Or is it here? Yeah, here itself. Brahmane Namaha, Yamaya Namaha, Somaya Namaha, Rudraya Namaha, Vishnave Namaha, Indraya Namaha. Then after that, It is Sahasrachise Hridaya Namaha Swasti Purnaya Sarase. Okay, sorry. 1 second. This one, you will have to do the Nyasam on your Sahasrachise Hridaya Namaha Swasti Purnaya Sarase Swaha Uttishta Purushaya Shikhaya Vashate Dhumavyabhine Kavachayahum Saptajikvaya Netratrayaya Voshate Dhanudharaya Astraya Phate Bhuhu Bhuvaha Suvaha Om Iti Digbandaha. Then you will perform the Nyasam on the Homukundam. Sahasrach Hridaya Namaha Swasti Purnaya Sarase Swaha Namaha Uttishta Purushaya Shikhaya Vashan Namaha Dhumavyapine Kavachayahum Namaha Saptajikvaya Netratrayaya Voshan Namaha Dhanudharaya Astraya Phat Namaha Bhuhu Bhuvaha Suvaha Om Iti Digbandaha. Then I don't know whether I have it here, or you can refer to Kamalatmika Homam manual that you have downloaded. But trust me, when I do this and at the temple or even at home, I don't follow the Agni Chakram as such. I focus, it is me. Okay. I focus the center of the Homukundam and offer it, because the Homukundam itself is Homa. In that one, you keep on searching for these points, you get lost. You get lost. That's all. Okay. It's up to you. If you still want to do it, that's most welcome. There's nothing wrong in it. Okay. Once again, it depends on what makes you most comfortable. Okay. I'm Hrim Shrim Pitaye Namaha Shvetaye Namaha Arunaye Namaha Krishnaye Namaha Dhumraye Namaha Tivraye Namaha Sphulinginye Namaha Ruchiraye Namaha Jwalinye Namaha Tam Tamase Namaha. See, the difference there is, this is one analogy I'd like to draw again. This is me. Okay. Pitaye Namaha Shvetaye Namaha Arunaye Namaha Krishnaye Namaha Dhumraye Namaha. What is that? It looks quite analogical to the cooling down and then reformation of a star. The star, Pitaya Namaha, Shvetaya Namaha, Arunaya Namaha, it has cooled down. Krishnaya Namaha, it has cooled down totally, no more light. It becomes a white dwarf. Krishnaya Namaha, Dhumraya Namaha, that's when it starts contracting. When it cools, it contracts. When it contracts, it heats up. Dhumraya Namaha, Tivraya Namaha, it becomes intense. Sphulinginya Namaha, it explodes. So basically, you are simulating the process of formation of a star as the evolution for Agni. Sphulinginya Namaha, Ruchiraya Namaha, Jwalinya Namaha. Until that point, it is physical attributes. That's why you will use one particular part of the Agni Chakram. Then after that, you will go into the Shatkonam there. In the Shatkonam, Tam Tamase Namaha, Ram Rajase Namaha, Samsattvaya Namaha, Am Atmane Namaha, Am Mantaratmane Namaha, Pam Paramatmane Namaha, Hrim Jnanatmane Namaha. Iti mantrena janishyamanishya vanhe pitarau Vagishwari Vagishwarau Sampujya Tayor Mithuni Bhavam Bhavayitva. You imagine Brahma and Saraswati in connubial union at the center of the Homukundam. Okay, that means the masculine aspect of procreation and the feminine aspect of procreation is in a divine union. There, Agni comes out. That's the idea. So you will think of Brahma. What is that? Hiranyagarbhaya vidmahe chaturmukhaya dhimahi tanno vidhatru prachodayad brahmane namaha. So some people, the practice is, they will show the mudra of Padmam. Okay, Brahma is seated on this one, right? They'll show the Padmam. Brahmane namaha. And Saraswati namastubhyam, if they are dances, Saraswati namas, they'll show the mudra of a Veena. सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारंभं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा वीणावादिन्यैश्च विद्महे पुस्तकधारिण्यैश्च धीमहि तन्नो वाणी प्रचोदयात् सरस्वत्यै नमः। ओम क्लीं कामदुघे अमोघे वरदे विच्चे स्फुरस्फुर श्रीं परश्रीं अथ कामधेनु विजयामृति कृत्या we imagine कामधेनु showering down the elixir amrutam. So we do kamadhenu mudra. What is this? This actually represents the udder of a cow. Okay, this is the kamadhenu. Kamadughe amoghe varde viche sparaspara shreem parashreem kamadhenu vijayamriti kritya ka ila hreem masakahala hreem sakala hreem yoni mudran pradarshya ram vaishwanrajat veda ihavahalohitaksa sarvakarmani sadhaya swaha मूलाधारोद्गतं संविधग्निं लाटनेत्रद्वारा निर्गमय्य वागीश्वर बीजस्य वागीश्वरी योन्यां प्रवेशबुद्ध्या बाह्याग्नौ संयोजयेत्। Now, here comes the concept. Mooladharodgatam samvidagnim. We imagine the Kundalini energy sitting at the base of our spine, just uncoiling. Samvidagnim latanetradvara nirgamaya, that travels through the spine and then comes out through this virtual aperture on the forehead. Okay, that is we call Agna Chakram, we call Rudra Grandhi, we call knot. Okay, the reason I say not is if you are into this upasana and then the hatha yoga and all that, you will feel that energy going along a straight line along the spinal column. When it comes here in this one, there is a kink there. It doesn't go, it takes a turn and then goes up. So from that kink, you expect this, you visualize the energy coming out. Okay, Lalata netradvara nirgamaya bahyagno samyojayet. May I commingle that with the bahyagni, the external fire. You will light that fire. You will visualize that this energy is sitting inside inside that fire, and then take that fire and deposit it inside the Homa Kunda. Bhakyagno samyojayet agnim prajvalitam vande jatavedam hudashanam suvardavardamamulam samidham vishwado mukham uttishta purushaya pingal lohitaksha sarvakarmani sadhayame dehidapaya swaha standilo pari agnim trivaram brahmayitva. On that rice floor, standilam and firewood that is placed there, on that one, take the agni trivaram brahmayitva standile agnim stapayet. On that, this one you are going to put in the deposit the fire, stapa, install the fire. And there are so many ways of if you go through the Agnimukham of Guruji, there is a small variation too. He'll ask you to place 2 wicks, one over there, one outside and all that. But we don't do that. We directly deposit the fire in the Homa Kundam. Standile agnim stapayitva Chitpingala hana hana daha daha paja paja sarvagnya jnapaya swaha jwalini mudran pradarshya. Next, Aim Namaha Shri Homa Agne Garbhana Karmani Samarpayami. Aim Namaha Shri Homa Agne Pumsavana Karmani Samarpayami. Aim Namaha Shri Homa Agne Simantona Karmani Samarpayami. Aim Namaha Shri Homa Agne Jata Karmani Samarpayami. Aim Namaha Shri Kamalatmika Homa Agne Namakarnani Samarpayami. Aim Namaha Shri Kamalatmika Homa Agne Annaprasana Karmani Samarpayami. Aim Namaha Asya Shri Kamalatmika Homa Agne Shaula Karmani Samarpayami. Aim Namaha Asya Shri Kamalatmika Homa Agne Upayana Karmani Samarpayami. Aim Namaha Asya Shri Kamalatmika Homa Agne Godana Karmani Samarpayami. Aim Namaha Asya Shri Kamalatmika Homa Agne Vivaha Karmani Samarpayami. Aim Namaha Asya Shri Kamalatmika Homa Agne Sarva Mangala Karmani Samarpayami. Now, I am almost sure that most of you will have gotten bored, because I'm just reading what you already know. You already have it in the rest one. Okay. But this is how the Agnimukam continues. Now, it will make more sense if you go through that manual as right at this time. If we have a few more minutes, you ask a questions. Okay, I'll be probably, it's not that I'll answer everything. It will be a question, it will be probably a food for rumination for me too. Okay, rather than me just chanting, repeating like a parrot and what you already know or what you are seeing. Okay, so what else do you have you'd like to ask at this point? It seems in the manual we see nyasam for the body and the homa kundam, not for the fire. No, for the fire it is there. After the fire is lit, okay, the nyasam is there. Okay, it's there. Good. So it is clarified. So anything else? Can sponsors participate after Ahuti with? Can okay, you mean to say, okay, it's okay to keep Ratram. Can sponsors, participants offer Ahuti with Kamalatmika mantra? We allow it in this temple. How about that? Simple. We allow it, but though they may not be able to chant it, because first of all, they don't know the mantra. Second is, they are not initiated into it, but we all let them offer it. Yep. No objections to it. Are we done? What can I tell? It's already nearing 6 o'clock, another 8 minutes. Amma, yeah. Are you comfortable sitting here? Good thing you have been sitting here. Okay? Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, you can. If you would like to sit, that's fine. Yeah. Okay. So any further questions?
Yeah, I see one question written here. Yeah, this is like after the nyasam done for the fire, then we do the Ganapati and they're saying they're following the text. So after just the Ganapati, then the Navagraha, and then the Kamalatmika. Is that?
Yes, Ganapati Navagraha. Ganapati Navagraha are a kind of tacitly mandatory precursors to the Kamalat, to any homam, as a matter of fact. And if you are not doing Kalasha Sthapanam at all, and if you are directly going into the homam, after the Ganapati homam is done, before Navagraha homam starts, you can do Sankalpam. Shubhejo Vanamuhurte Jibramanaha, that you can do after the Ganapati homam is done. Sorry if I ask too many questions, you say sorry and put a smiley face. That is so antithetic. Daniel, but you are most welcome. Yeah, you can ask as many questions as you like. Yeah, when you know the Homa Kundam inside the house would mean you can use toilet tissue, the fresh one, okay? Or the paper towels. Just crumple them, soak them in ghee, use it. That's one of the most comfortable choices. Yeah. That's made out of wood itself as such. Not a problem. No, just put it at the center of the home. Home kundam itself will be so small. Where's the question? Put it at the center. Right. The question was, what do we use in the place of firewood if we are performing home at home? The best choice is fresh, quote and unquote, fresh paper towel, fresh toilet tissue, one of the two, and make them into balls that fits into your palm, into your fist. Don't put the entire roll into this one. That becomes a big bonfire. Okay, just whatever fits into your fist. Make that kind of a ball out of that paper, soak it in ghee, and use it as firewood. Yes. What next? We have 5 more minutes.
I don't see any other questions, yeah. So
Okay. So in that case, we will conclude the session. And if you have any further questions, should you stumble at any more questions, don't worry whether it is too many or you think, oh, can I ask this kind of no. No question is too simple. No question is too many. Okay. You please post the questions into the learning group. I'll be too glad to read the questions. I don't promise that I will answer all, but I'll be too glad to go through the questions, and wherever I can possibly answer, I will put my best foot forward. It's all Guru's grace. There is, anything else, it is just there. That's all. But it's all, otherwise, the answer is nothing but Guru's grace and Mother's grace. Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha, Shri Matre Namaha. Yeah, we can use cotton ball. Yeah, cotton balls also can be used. But I think more than cotton balls, the paper tissue is much more easily available. That's all. But you can definitely use cotton balls. Okay. Anything else?
No, I don't see any more questions. Yeah, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for going over the clarifying us, especially on the questions that were stuck up, basically on the directions. Actually, for the benefit for everyone, the YouTube link, you said you will be posting it in the classroom, right? So we will then publish that. The YouTube link of Guruji's Agnimukha.
YouTube link I'm going to publish in the post in the SVDS learning group. Is that okay? Or where do you, I'll send you the link, Amma. You post it wherever you feel fit.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that.
Okay.
And also the Bali mantras that we talked about, like one of them had a question in the Telegram group where like you actually chanted it, for the various things. So I would have that also added up into that classroom as part of.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Sure. In fact, the Bali mantra text should be already available in a different.
Yes.
This one you can just copy paste kind of thing. It should work. Okay.
And also for the Kamalatmika Dhyanam Shlokam, we already have that recording updated in the classroom, so students can use that to chant and familiarize with the chants actually.
Okay. Okay. And Daniel is asking, Brahma and Saraswati, the text is not in the Kamalatmika, in the manual that we have published. I believe it should be. Saraswati Namastubhyam. That is not there. Muladharodgaram Samvidagnim Lalata Netradva. Okay, I'll post it. Okay. Because one thing, that Muladharodgaram Samvidagnim is more a statement than a mantra. Okay? It's more a statement than a mantra, but I can still post it. No big deal. After that, you changed a few more mantras while you spoke about Grandhis. Yeah, same thing. Muladharodgaram Samvidagnim. I will post it. I'll post it. No problem. Okay?
Yes.
Om Prajnanam Brahmayam Atma Brahmadatvamasi Aham Brahmasmi Hamsat Shivassoham Hamsaha Sakafrem Hasatchamalavara Yumasom Satchamalavarayim Saho Swarupanirupana Hetave Swagurave Srimajnanam Bigasameda Sri Chaitanyanandanatha Sri Guru Sri Padukam Pujayami Nirpayami Namaha. Thank you one and all for attending. Thank you one and all for supporting. Okay, without which it couldn't go this far at all. Thank you so much. Shri Matre Namaha, Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
So much.